What's up, Maximus? Dude, you need some sun.
What? I've been in the sun a lot.
You
I just
look
don't get tanned.
you look like you belong on the set of Interview for Vampire, Eclipse, or one of those because you are so pale. You would think there's, and I can see there's sun. I assume that's sun outside of that window right there.
Yeah. I've been getting a lot of sun. I've been at the track. Yeah, every day I get sun.
You must be using some super industrial things, sunscreen, because you are like pale as a ghost.
I haven't used recently, but usually when I use the 50, the kids bottle.
You're talking to a guy who doesn't use any type of
Yeah.
sun protection whatsoever. A hat.
Yeah.
Anyway, you did some racing this weekend.
That's the privilege if you have.
I have more melanin in my skin, so yeah, and I'm used to the sun. So, mind you, I do. Sometimes if like I'm gonna go and it's really hot, I will use some sunscreen because it gets kind of hot.
Yeah.
But it's not been. It's been raining. We had some crazy weather, and it's been raining. It's been crazy. But we're not here to talk about the weather. We're here to talk about RC. We got a lot to talk about. We got some news. We got 10 scale nats coming up. Yeah, Wicked Weekend we didn't even talk about because we didn't have no coverage, but we're going to talk about that a little bit. We did talk about it a little bit. We got a Worlds coming up very shortly. We got a lot to talk about. So, you know what? Let's drop that intro and let's get cracking.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this money-grabbing book racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right. You know?
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 202 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keno White, aka Lefty the Great. Joining me to my virtual left. Your mic's really loud. You got to check your sound settings there. I hear a lot of white noise coming through your mic, Max.
Oh, that's because I have the fan on me.
Yeah, it's probably like 72 degrees in Finland, and he's probably sweltering. You can't have the fan on while we do this. We have to suffer. I have to turn on the fan. But anyway, welcome, Max, to the No Name RC podcast. It's been a while. You've been on a little bit of a hiatus. You did join us for our pre-200 show, I believe. I think it was. But you're back in full effect. You're back in RC mode. We're going to talk about all of that. Welcome back, Arrogant One.
Yeah, I'm back finally.
Yeah,
talk about RC. I don't know what I'm supposed to say here.
Well, you've been doing a lot of RC, and we're going to talk about that in our little catch up. But before we do that, we need to say some thank yous and shout out to some of the sponsors. So I want to, before I go any further, I'd like to say shout out to all of the NNRC squad around the world. We're going to the Worlds. I couldn't have done that without you guys. Thank you for all the support. It's been an awesome year. I'm got some more announcements to come up here eventually too. But thank you guys for everything that you do. We can't do without you. Thank you to the patrons of the podcast. You will get early release of this podcast. Thank you for that. If you guys wish to be a patron, you can. The link is in the written description of the podcast. That patron money also helps me travel, so I greatly appreciate that. Excuse me. Also, shout out to the awesome sponsors of the podcast. Remember, everybody, showing the sponsors some love, shows the podcast some love. And if you guys can, check the written description. We have links. We have coupon codes, all this type of stuff. all in the written description of this podcast. I'd like to say shout out to Invisible Speed, which seems to be getting very strong right now. TZO 200 Tires, I was talking to Nick and everything. They're coming on board to help me go to the Worlds. Happy about that. TNR Fuel, shout out to Chris Nelson and his guys. I wonder if Chris is going to be at the Worlds. High Tech RC for helping me also to get to the Worlds. Thank you to them. Beach RC is another company that's helped me. Shout out to Brent. I got an announcement about that as well coming up soon. Shout out to all the Mayako guys. It was good to see all the English guys. It's good to see Mayako starting to thrive in different places. Max is all, Mayako out. I do like their shirts. They're very comfortable.
Yeah.
I do use them to travel because they're very comfortable. They're very light. I like them. And so it's like travel shirt now. Also, shout out to Techno RC for all their support and continued support. We're going to talk about them because they're not sending their whole team to the Worlds. Shout out to my boy Scooter at Papa Willie's Traction Tonic. You can find all your traction needs. We also have a 10% coupon code that you can use to save some money. To my boy G-Off, G-Spec, I was just talking to him today. G-Spec RC219 is branched out into lubricants as well as tools. So go check out G-Spec RC219 Lefty 10 to save 10%. Sun Pedal USA, I was talking to Hefty the other day. We was talking about the 10 scale nationals that are coming up. We're going to do some giveaways. We have some more batteries to give away here shortly. Not this podcast, but coming up later on this year. They get a Sun Pedal USA, your place for one-stop spot for all of your Sun Pedal racing batteries. Racecraft USA, check out them in true form of their new Worlds t-shirt that they have done. Really like just a world-specific t-shirt. It's pretty cool. It's like RC/skateboarding. Chase is known for that type of stuff. Obviously, to RCGP, it's been announced it's going to be at Badlands. We're going to talk about that in a little bit because I had some people asking why not her and why not there. So we're going to address that later on. Shout out to RCGP and all that support. House of RC, RC3 Raceway in Alabama, and shout out to David Ronafalk, Alexander Harkberg, Jared Tebow, and Robert Battier. We're going to have Robert Battier come on next week as well to talk about Redavon. Hopefully, Brian Baldo will be on as well. He's going to talk about the track. I've been talking to him. So thank you to all those guys. Thank you to all those sponsors. If remember, everybody, show them some love. It helps us out. We need it. And thank you. Also, I just want to shout out to my guest this week, Mark Moon. It was a good chat with him of the Loganville RC Complex. We chatted for about 45 minutes about Loganville, his race that he has coming up, the Georgia's Peach State Classic, which will be held at the Raybun Arena in Georgia, September 16th to 18th. I think prices are $75. It's a wicked weekend style arena. It's open on his sides. It's got a roof, so you're guaranteed a race. He's gonna have it looks like he's gonna do some good things. We had a chat with him, so thank you to Mark Moon and his time. I got to know him a little bit better. That's our guest this week. You'll hear from him on the Techno RC main interview. But yeah, Max, thank you to all those people. We can't do without you. And yeah, Max, a little catch up. So you're back into full RC swing. You're working at the hobby shop. You're out testing every week.
Not actually working. So I'm full-time RC now.
Oh, so you are not working.
Yeah,
just full-time RC, living the dream. So, yeah. But Pekko and Yuna work for the hobby factory still, right?
No, not they have a regular job. Actually, Yuna doesn't have a job at the moment.
Okay,
but Pekko has a regular job, so they.
What does Pekko do regular? I thought he worked at the hobby shop as a regular job.
No, he doesn't work there. He works as a driver, driving full scale car parts. Sort of a parts delivery guy.
Oh, okay, so he's a delivery man. Yeah. All right. I did get to meet Pekko. He was. I think I've come to a conclusion that JQ and him are very finished, and you are the abnormal one. Because you like to talk a lot, and Pekko doesn't. But it was funny because
yeah. Well, that sense, I do talk a lot, so that's very unfinished of me. But
yes,
Joseph he's sort of the way he does things and the way he is not as finished as others.
I will say this: Pekko is impressive, very impressive young man, very talented. Oh, he was right.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
To see him do what he done with that car, and then also what was good was JQ was smiling the entire time. So I think he was able to.
When you're watching Pekko drive, you can't do anything but smile because it's sometimes good. It's crazy, sometimes it's crazy good, and yeah. and he's still a very smart driver. He doesn't have that sort of crazy setting. Some even top drivers have, like when they go a bit over the edge and they can't get themselves to calm down. Whereas Pekko rarely ever does that. He drives aggressively, but in his head he's very calm. So that's the opposite of a lot of drivers.
I don't see him getting frustrated too. I'm like, how's the car? It's okay.
Yeah.
That was my joke.
He's always fine with things, and he accepts things how they are. He can be frustrated after the race, but he won't sort of he won't give up during a race. So that's a very strong sort of
it paid off on Sunday.
Exactly. And yeah, exactly. That's a very good side of it, of that thing. And he's also like, even if he crashes, he doesn't start to overdrive. Like almost everyone does it, but he does it very little, considering that he already drives very aggressively. So some drivers who drive aggressively go even more aggressive after they crash, whereas he calms it down and then builds up again. And he's very good at that, I think.
Yeah, I would agree there. Tell us a little bit. So JQ, I was listening. He did a meeting on the Mayako NPC the other day, and it was him and David. They were talking about the Swedish nationals. I have a cool video from that I'm going to show. Yeah, there's a chicane at that track that I just love. Like I could see me just loving that part of the track early. You've been at the track. You did go to the Finnish Nationals this weekend. You did beat Pekko, but Pekko was driving the AE car. He did have a wing come off, so that was a little bit. But tell us a little bit about this. I heard you're like also making your own bodies or something like that, and you're geeking out with the Truggy development, the Mayako Truggy development as well. So you're like in full RC mode right now.
Not so much Truggy, but prototype parts for our current car and body shells and testing all this stuff, and also just in general getting ready for the Worlds.
Yes.
But pretty much now I think I got a setup figured out. The car feels always good. Like no matter where the track is, you put it on the ground and it feels good. It's quite crazy, actually.
That's good.
Yeah.
What are you liking about it compared to, say, your AE? Because it took you some time to get used to your AE, and also probably to the older, which everybody will compare it to, the JQ Black Edition.
Yeah.
Real quick.
So my sort of now, when I've had enough time with all three cars to find a comfortable setup, I can comfortably say this car is the most easiest car of the three. It's the most sort of predictable car of the three, and I'd even go as far as saying it's the most predictable car I've ever driven, which is quite a big thing to say, because I mean I've tried a Kyosho before, and I've tried a Mugen, and I know how these cars feel like when they're right in the setup window. This car, when it's, no matter how rough the track is, it still feels good.
It's good. It's good.
It's quite like something I was surprised about even myself, even though I knew how the car essentially works and what Joseph was thinking of when he was designing it. But I was surprised of how good it actually is when you get it set up. Yeah. For now, though, it's just about finding more speed. I'm already fast enough to match Jona and Pekko and then make less mistakes because the car is much easier. But I want to find even more speed going into the Worlds, getting the car to be faster.
Well, you got a couple more weeks to practice.
Yeah, and that's the good thing now, because I feel the car is good enough where I can perform at my own level if I just drive at my own level. But if I improve it now, everything is just a bonus. Like if the car is even better, then that's a bonus for me. But right now, I'm most worried about my driving. I haven't driven a lot this summer. I even missed one Finnish race, so only driven 3 races this year. So that's one thing I'm a bit worried about. But I think I've been fine. Even that,
Okay.
I don't think that's gonna.
It's gonna be competitive, man. That's all you.
That's the thing.
It's
Like,
gonna be some competitive.
So many fast guys. Like, even from the UK, the Skidmores, Clancy's, and then there's like Boots who's at the top, and even Lee Martin. That's one country. Then Italy, Spain, both have like 5 guys
Portugal.
there. That's gonna be really fast. Portugal has 2-3 guys gonna be there. Oh well, Coil has 3 guys who are gonna be there at the top. So like, even for me, I think on a perfect day, I could have a shot at a semi at the Worlds.
I think that's real. I think that's a realistic goal. I think it's Hampus's realistic goal too. Because he's really in good form right now.
Yeah.
And that's because people, you gotta understand, like, to make that semis is not gonna be easy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't expect to make the semis, and I'd be happy to even make the quarters, to be honest.
Right.
But the thing is that on a perfect day, I think I can make the semi. So I keep that as a goal, and that's sort of where I start. Qualifying the quarters and bump into semis. That would be.
People may be like, "Oh, well, you're setting the bar low." I think you just don't understand the level of competition and talent that's going to be on display at this race.
Like, imagine this: like, you can go watch the top 25 and pick your favorite American drivers from there and say surely these guys could make the world main, and then pick all the rest of the world and say surely these guys could make the world's main. And then you have 25 guys who all could make the world's A main, and 13 of them can't actually make it. So, like,
because there's only 13 that go through.
Yeah, well, actually, so 12 of them. But it's no matter
good,
how good you are, unless you are like a Ronnefolk Ongaro, like top 3 of the world. Like, below that, you're gonna have to fight for getting the main.
Yeah, I would agree there. So I've been making my plans for the Worlds. I'm going to Greg Degani, and I thought that making plans with Joseph was difficult, but making plans with Degani has been extra difficult. So it's like everything he goes is like, I want to stay at the hotel that everybody's staying at. I'm like, well, Greg, most people doing Airbnbs. Then he goes on his rant about how Airbnbs have ruined travel racing because manufacturers are too cheap to get hotels. And the good thing about the Worlds was when we used to go to the Worlds, everybody would stay at the same hotel and everybody would hang out, have breakfast in the morning, and everybody would hang out in the afternoon. And Airbnbs have ruined all of that. And he goes, you find a hotel with breakfast. We have to have breakfast. So I'm like, Greg, you're going to be booking this. You find it. I might not even come. I'm like, you have your ticket. This is the threat. He has his he like, I might not even come. I said, well, if you don't come, you owe JQ $1,000. Because the bet was, you're gonna bet him $1,000. Oh, that's right. Then he finally books the hotel. He finds a nice hotel. It has breakfast. It's about 25 miles away. And he's gonna rent the car. And he's like, why don't we go with the cheaper cars? I was like, because the cheaper cars want you to put a $2,000 deposit on. Stick with Hertz. Like, that's American. Stick with that. So we're all sorted on that side. Him and I are rooming. He acts like he's not excited, but he's excited. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh, it's like I'm having 2 kids here. So finally everything's booked. And then obviously what happened to me was I broke my laptop here the other day. So if you guys can see, I'm using like a monitor. My laptop still works, but the screen cracked because I was like an idiot. I put a USB there and then I went to close it and then cracked. So I then had to go to the podcast coffers and then get another. I need a laptop for Spain, right? So I have to get a new laptop sent to Greg Degani so he can bring it to me in Spain. Because to get it here in time, I wouldn't get it here in time, and it will cost me about $300 more in duties and all that stuff, right? So then he tells me, I never carry any carry-on stuff. I'm like, what? So you don't carry any type of bag, a fanny pack, nothing? Nope. I just carry my passport, my wallet, and that's it. I don't want nothing to carry on around me. And he goes, if you want me to bring your laptop, you make sure you get me a bag. And I was like, okay, I'll get a bag for it. And he goes, I don't want a knapsack. I want a shoulder bag. I said, oh, you want a sack? then this is the type of stuff that I have to do, like to go to the Worlds to get him. So he's just gonna be, and I'm like, look, so you're just gonna travel through to Spain with your passport, a satchel, and a laptop, and everything in your check bag. Yep, that's how I'm doing it. So it should be a very interesting World. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. This is my first World. This is a bucket list. This is a dream. Going to this track, going to this. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm done. I'm just excited. I'm going to be around you. I'm going to be around everybody. Traveling with Greg is going to be interesting. It's going to be funny. You know how that goes. Anyway, you know what, Max? We need to go into some RC news, and we have some rumors to talk about, and we have questions. So we got a lot to talk about today. And we have a guest. So with that said, I'm going to drop this Invisible Speed because that's one of our principal sponsors. So if you're listening to this, you're going to hear noise. This is the Invisible Speed ad. Maybe if you ain't watching us on YouTube, you should watch us on YouTube. 2. And thank you to Invisible Speed. Those who watch that, it's not 20% off. That's the Euros commercial. Joseph needs to make a new commercial with some actual words so we can have a better commercial. But check out invisiblesteed.net. It's growing. It's moving into its next phase next year, hopefully, as well, which will be physical stuff. So exciting times there at Invisible Speed. Also, the RC news is brought to you by High-Tech RCD, who is a leader in RC systems, delivering the highest performance and reliability, supported by a dedicated customer service personnel with their high technology standards. High-Tech also has the 9381TH servers, which are efficient for your 8-scale needs. I have some that go in my Mayako. Efficient brushless motors, titanium gears, low consumption, constant output, and in no case, they also regenerate power back into your battery upon braking. High-Tech also has the new DB series of brushless servers. They're high-performance, low profiles, the DB778 WPs. I see a lot of people using them in their 10-scale programs on and off-road, a lot smaller, a lot lower profile, providing you the quality that you need. Manufactured using their high technology, industrial servo innovation, because High-Tech does a lot of industrial stuff as well. Don't forget the RDX2 Pro Charger, which I have right here, which I am thoroughly enjoying. I haven't done any RC for a while, but you can charge up 2 4-cell packs or more with this at a time. I'm actually getting some more leads made from G-Spec to get, to have all of this done, look all coordinated. And trust in High-Tech, your servo and charger headquarters. You can visit them at hightechrcd.com/where to buy for your nearest retailer. All right, Max, first up in the news. So Badlands, I knew this was happening. The Beach RC is going to have the last RCGP race. I'm actually excited about this. I'm happy. I like Badlands. I'm happy to go back there. Myrtle Beach is a nice area to go through. We're going to get a lot of good deals. You got a lot of good deals in hotels this time of the year as well in that area, like waterfront, beachfront hotels. Yeah, good stuff. I knew this was going to kind of happen. I know that Thunder Alley was probably on they were going to do that Thunder Alley, but I don't think Thunder Alley could have done it. I think it would have been like a race, RCGP race, and I think that's what messed it up. So I think that was the original goal, to have it there. I know people say, well, you're supposed to have a West Coast one and blah, blah, blah. But I'll be honest with you. I think with the way things are, I don't even think you would get the entrance in SoCal, at this point. A few little politics things going on there that I kind of think that would affect it. And, also that Beach is a big supporter. They have this track. A lot of people like this track. The South, I also wanted to have another chance at this, not myself, but I wanted RCGP to have another chance at the Southeast to show them this is what we really do. And it's going to be good. I was talking to David this morning. They're going to do RC2. RCGP loves RC2. They haven't really switched tire they're going to use. They're still up in the air about that. And I think you guys, if you want to come, check it out. It's going to be a good race. I'm actually staying in the Carolinas. So I'll go back up to North Carolina, spend a couple of days up there, and then I'm coming back down to do the Masters of Dirt race, his 10 scale race. So I'm going to do my thing there. I believe he's going to have somebody covering it. I don't know who yet. I'm not going to say who, but I'll work along with them. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. And yeah, that's probably going to cap off my year of travel, I think, unless something else happens, which I'm working on, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So looking forward to that. I'm happy about that. I know a lot of people want to know West Coast, but maybe next year. I know one guy sent me a message like, why can't we have it at Thornhill? I was like, dude, I'd love to go to Thornhill. It's a beautiful track. It has everything that we need, that RCGP needs. But I do know, like a couple years ago when Ishwood kind of approached him, he said no. So maybe that's something that needs to be revisited, because I think Ishwood's serious about RCGP Season 3. So I would love to see like Thornhill on there. So good stuff to them. Max, we have the 10 scale dart nats this weekend. That's SDRC. I wrote a little write-up on this. I think this is going to be the Fen Cav show. Maybe Rifkin will get in there a little bit. It'd be interesting to see what Brock Champlin does, being as he doesn't have a track anymore in Vegas. And this is dart. Also, I think this is a time for Matty G, Davey Bada to shine, because it's kind of like the home track, SDRC. So it'd be interesting to see what they do. I'm going to be watching it. Also in Spec Mod, stock is, I know you don't really care about this, but it's going to be hotly contended. Brennan Shim, a lot of fast stock guys. So yeah, it's going to be. What
about Tom? Tom from R1.
Tom from R1. I have him as my dark horse. Like, I think if anybody that can just win this, I'll be from underneath everybody. It's him. So I need to get Tom from R1 on this podcast. He's asked, we've talked about it, but we need to get him on. I like Tom. Nice guy. Nice young man. Like, kind of reminds me of Tom Cruise for some reason. I don't know why. But
well, his name is Tom, so
yes, but he just has like, that Tom Cruise type of look. So it's going to be interesting to see. I am very interested to see two things. So I think Rifkin's like kind of not worried about Rifkin too much and more focused on Brock, like that beef there. And Mayfield and Tasman. Anywhere they show up, we need to keep a cap on them.
But I don't think Mayfield's going to be fast.
I don't either. He could surprise us all and be extremely fast, but I don't think his heart's in it.
I think Tasman will be on the podium for sure. I think I
would not argue with that. I would not argue with that.
But I'd say then Fend is the only secure one. Cav is probably one of my first picks as well. But yeah, I don't. Brock won't be that fast. It's slippery dirt, so I don't think it will be that good for him. This car.
Then we have Aiden Horn, CFT. I mean, it's time for these guys to kind of, it's a lot going on. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting silly season. We'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, it's going to be on. I believe Live RC will be covering, or maybe Olsen, Matt will be there. They should have coverage. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. I know this is a sore subject for people, but I think this is, the dart side of 10 scale is going to not come to an end, but it's going to be few and far between, because carpet industry is just too popular. It's getting too popular. They have their own nationals for it in a matter of years.
Where was the carpet nationals?
At Northwest Hobbies up in Washington, Oregon. One of those two. It's basically a Sears, an old Sears Roebuck store.
Brock won 4-wheel drive.
He did. I think he won like the overall, if you counted, because he finished like second and first.
Okay.
So, but Fen won 2-wheel drive, and of course, we know that 2-wheel drive is the more coveted prize, I would say, in 10 scale.
Yeah.
So, switching over to Euros, we're going to talk about Euros real quick. Patrick Schweinser wins the 2002 Austrian 8-scale Nitro Buggy Champs. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because this dude also won the 5th scale race at this 5th scale Euros at this race, 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive. But he also beat like Barkan. Like I see Barkan went to this race.
Yeah.
So
Barkan went, and Valanka and fast drivers were there, and he beat them.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, is it just a matter of that he's really just used to the fairing track, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have no clue.
Yeah, and also the guy Dominic Grainer wins the IC track race. I watched that this past weekend, or was it last weekend? He people saying that he pulled a very aggressive move, while Nick was saying it on it to pass.
Yeah, I think the move was okay. It wasn't clean, but it was not enough to give a penalty. Peach was on the outside, and was it Peach, right? It was him.
One of them guys. It was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The yellow car. He was on the outside, and he went wide, and yeah, he should have just lifted when Dominic was pushing.
This is his second Euros, right? This guy Dominic. He's from Germany, I believe.
Yeah, he's from Germany, but he won the 110th.
Is this the? Oh, this recent 110. Is this the maximum bullshit guy?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, I love him. Maximum bullshit. Yeah. Maximum bullshit. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed this class, Formula One of RC. I watched it. RC Racing TV done a good job. I think Nick really enjoys this type of racing too. You can hear it in his announcement. So congratulations to Dominic Grainer and all that. Also, speaking of AFRA, they stripped the two, I think it was top 2 drivers from the 10 scale touring car.
No, it was first and third, I think.
Okay, so this is the spec class or stock class.
Yeah, stock class.
So they kind of had too many wines on their motors, but like this is almost 2 months after the race, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think what they do is they take the motors to inspection after the race, and then they inspect it, and then they see if there's something different to the stock, and if there is, they are obviously disqualified. So both of these drivers were X-ray drivers. First and third. First and third, yeah. So now they're disqualified. So the other driver had aluminum screws in the motor, which is so silly because it doesn't affect anything. It's just a bit lighter, which is not even needed. So that was just a dumb mistake. But the other one had a sensor that was not the right size from all locations. So that had been changed or modified or something, but it wasn't the right size that the stock should be. So both of those guys were disqualified.
No shit. Wow. Yeah. That's crazy. More negative news for X-Ray in the news. I don't know if they even care anymore. Like,
yeah, you're probably right. Like, I don't know why they do this.
And then apparently these two, the second and third positions will now be vacant because they didn't tech the other or whatever. I believe they didn't, or it's too late where they can't tech the cars.
Yeah. So they tech only the top 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, at least they're being sticklers to the rules in that sense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird, though, to be stripped of your title like 2 months later, almost, or a month and a half later. But
yeah, but I mean, they probably knew, but they just didn't think they would get caught. So I
kind of like the internet lit up a little bit, and people, a lot of people, whenever anything like this of X-Ray happens, I'm just like, what can you say? Like, I mean, I don't think it happens. Like, you know what I mean? So anyway, I see Hooks is moved to Florida. Tyler Hooks is moved to Florida, taking up his role at JC. Just like I think he is. I think like JC, they don't really believe in team manager, but he looks like he's kind of filling in what Paul Winner was doing, going to races. I think he's jumped right into Florida RC.
Wasn't Tyler Hooks announced as A-main?
No, he's J Concepts, dude.
What?
He is something. Oh yeah, ProTech with A-main.
Yeah, ProTech. Yeah.
So he'll be using their stuff, and he's off to LCRC for the Mugen Challenge. It's all Mugened out. Wow, that was a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, good for him. I guess this is the next step of his career.
Yeah, basically he's running everything that Mayfield's running, so he's gonna be Mayfield's social media guy.
Probably as well.
Yeah.
It sounds like it as well. But I mean, we all have to find niches. I think he'll fill in as a good, like Paul probably doesn't want to travel to all those races anymore, like J Concepts would have. So good stuff for him. I'm glad to see that. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Swedish Nuts. I know this is not a big race, but David won it. I have a lap of this track. I just think you guys need to watch this chicane and enjoy this real quick. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see this. Max, I don't know what that noise is, but I'm gonna mute you. It's probably gonna be a little loud. We're gonna do one lap. All right. That is a nice track, Max.
Yeah, I've been there once.
That chicane is like, I don't care if I messed up on the entire track, if I just hit that chicane perfectly every time. That is like the best thing of that track for me. I really liked it. I think that's Ronald Fox 22nd, 21st Swedish national title. Like,
yeah,
that's a good weekend. JQ was there, you know, embracing his role of race engineer. He made this post on Instagram that got everybody asking me questions as well. I still don't know you say it's just him officially retiring.
Yeah.
But I think he's still going to find a way to be a race RC cars as a hobbyist somehow.
Yeah,
someday.
I mean, he's definitely going to race the Worlds.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question about that.
I think he really enjoyed his time in Sweden. They had like a barbecue, all this type of stuff. We're going to talk about ROI on drivers. It's one of our questions. So I bring up all of this because I know Ronafal looked like went out of pocket and did all of this. And he's done a really good thing. It was a 1-2-3 Mayako. It was 7 Mayako cars in the final. Like, that's what happens when you get Ronafal going. Like, you know what I mean? He puts in work. He puts in work. But yeah, for those who were asking about Beaker's Instagram post, it was very like, I mean, the first thing I asked is like, so are you retiring or not? Like, what does this post mean? A lot of people thought he's like retiring from everything, but no, I think JQ is realizing, hey, I can get the same type of enjoyment as people doing well with my cars and my setup advice. And to be honest, like JQ's future it's design and invisible speed and all that type of stuff, in my opinion. So that's my thoughts on that, Maxi. That's all the news I have for today for that one. We're gonna go into some rumors. Or do we save the rumors for last? I think we might save the rumors for last.
Yeah, let's save them for last.
Because we're probably gonna get involved in them. Let's save the rumors for last. Let's go on to the Techno RC main interview with Mark Moon. That's about 45 minutes. We talk about Loganville, his race that's coming up. So let's listen to that. Max, we can come back. We're gonna do some beach RC questions. And we're gonna go into the rumors and stuff like that. All right.
Yep.
Techno RC. Techno RC. Techno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.technorc.com for a complete catalog of their products. Techno RC. Excellence in engineering. Hashtag Techno Takeover.
Thank you to Techno RC for the continued support. We greatly appreciate them. You can check out technorc.com where you can get all of your techno products. I'm really enjoying my tech. I still have to finish my techno build down there, but we really greatly thank them for all their continued support, and hopefully it continues into 2023. What's going on, everybody? If you guys haven't been following Facebook a little bit, there's a new indoor race coming to town in the Southeast. The gentleman that's putting it on is to my virtual right, left, whatever. I forgot what that is, but he's a stalwart in the Southeast community there in Georgia. He's a track owner, an avid racer. I've seen him at many races. I've never really talked to him, so I'll get into know him for the first time. I'd like to welcome Mr. Mark Moon from Loganville RC Complex. Correct.
Thank you for having me.
What's going on, Mark? I've heard your name many times throughout the years, mostly in, I'm not going to lie, in 40 plus, like you always do well in 40 plus. I know you're from the South. I know you're the owner of Loganville, but I don't know too much about you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, where you race, how you started racing.
Well, you know, I was about 9 years old. My dad was living in Florida, actually down there racing at Coral Springs and Mills Pond. I think they were really heavy into Mills Pond. My, mother and dad split up at a young age, so he was in Florida. I stayed up here in Georgia with my mom, but as I went down to visit him, he got me a RC car. It's actually a little truck. I can't even remember the name brand of it. It was, I think Tamiya made it. Mm-hmm. He took me out to the track, and I got to run down there at Coral Springs, and I just loved it. I had a little knack for getting the car around the track, and then later on, I came back home to my home, where my hometown is here in Georgia. So the Sugar Bowl is definitely my home track here, located in Sugar Hill, Georgia. It's not currently open anymore, but back in the 90s, it was the big thing to be at. It was right here in Georgia. So I got an associated 2-wheel drive buggy. Love electric. 10th scale has always been my heart. I run 8 scale now because it's predominant here, but I really love 2-wheel drive buggy, and had a little team associated. It just had come out with a Black Pan edition at the time. Kenwald, had that edition come out with the Black Pan and all that. So that was where I started, and been racing ever since then. So of course took a break when I got a little older, bought a house, came back, and then that's where we're at. So
all right, so you mentioned some iconic tracks there. Mills Pond been in pretty much the same location since the 80s, I think. Coral Springs, another iconic track. The Sugar Bowl, I remember I had a friend, his name Irvin Romain. He used to go to school in Atlanta, and he used to always talk about the Sugar Bowl and bring us some crappy videos that he would take on. We didn't have anything like this in Bermuda. So that name definitely rings a bell. I remember him racing gas truck there a lot.
Oh yeah.
And then I think even further on, if we go further, when I started really taking 8 scale hardcore, we went to our first big race, which was Nitro Fest in 2004 in Charlotte at Lance Nork's house.
Yep.
And Scott Stoll won that race, and he was from Georgia. And I just remember, I didn't know who he was. There was Chad Bradley, Steve Dunn. This is the days when Dean Saxton and all these guys were fast. They were all running jamming, the jamming team had just started, and he beat all those guys.
Oh, yeah.
And Bobby Moore was in the main as well, and Scott Stoll. It was so cool. This was my first introduction to Southeast racing, but most of it's been in the Carolinas and in Florida. So I know a few guys in Alabama and Georgia. I don't know too much about Georgia racing besides, I know that you have quite a few tracks there. You have, I think, your track. You have, what's the other one called?
You got the Barn. It's called Barn.
The Barn, yes. The other track up in Savannah that Drew runs, that's Georgia,
Phil
right?
Hurd. That's a historic track down there. It's a Phil Hurd Raceway. That's where I think Adam Drake kind of got his.
Yes. Yeah. And there's one more, Augustaville, I think. Is that in Georgia as well?
We had Augusta RC Supercross. It
yes.
just had shut down. I think some guys took it back over and reopened it. So
really,
as far as I know, it's up and running again. So yeah, we have Augusta, Barnesville, Phil Hurd, Loganville, and we used to have a track called Dalton. It's no longer going, but it's the tracks here. There's not very, very many left here, but the ones that are going are pretty good. So,
what about 10 scale? Where do guys race 10 scale now in Georgia?
That's why I swapped over to 8 scale because of that. There's the Hobby Town in Columbus, which is a pretty good drive for me. I had to go through Atlanta, traffic to get there. But the guys that live around that bottom edge of the perimeter, or where they can get over to Columbus real quick, that's a phenomenal indoor track. So
really, is it clay?
It's clay and it's high bite. So yeah, it's pretty big. They have redone it. Haven't been back since they used to have an oval on one side and then the off-road on the other. Now they've kind of got it all to where it's one big track, and then they've incorporated an oval in the middle of this layout, and they just moved a few pipes. And it's pretty it's pretty good dirt in there. I'm not gonna lie. I like it. So
you guys are also a part of the Southeast, which it's no shortage of tracks between South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and then up northern Florida, and then I would say as far as Central Florida. So it's a very big RC community, and Virginia. It's a very big RC community. Lots of tracks. I think we counted at one point within the Southeast. I think within 3 hours of Charlotte, we counted 20-something tracks. So this was a couple of years ago. I know it's not that much now. So it's a big racing community. Very hard to. I think probably one of the hardest things to do in the Southeast is plan a race because of the wet weather that you get, and when there's a good weekend, it's like everybody is scrambling to race somewhere in the Southeast. So it must be very difficult to do that.
It is. We get a lot of messages from the racers. Why are you racing on top of this guy? Why is this guy racing on top of that guy? Well, there's only so many Saturdays in the year, and everybody has obviously rent and bills to pay to keep these tracks open. We definitely try to work together the best we can, but sometimes there's just no physical way to stay off of one another due to, I mean, you got to account in these holidays too that people don't understand. People going back to school, graduation weekends, vacation, the people are planning on these, especially in the summer. You get these pop-up afternoon thunderstorms, and I mean, you have to get it in when you can. So you get one of these pop-up thunderstorms in the afternoon, you could get 2 to 3 inches in 30 minutes, and it'll just wipe you out. So
yes, I'm very. It is not as easy as people think in the Southeast. It's good weather, but it's very difficult with the rain. And my experience, like going to Fallbrook, it's been like rained out every time I've been there, or it's been rain. Unfortunately, and it's a great race. It's just very difficult. All right, so let's talk. But also, I wanted to mention something too. Georgia has produced some fast races currently right now. Cole Ogden, is fast, and I have to give Jackson Brunson, like, I'm so shocked at how good he is now. Like, he's definitely. He went from a guy that he can make mains to where he's like making these mains and fighting up for a top 5 almost now. Really impressive to see.
Yeah. I want to back up just a minute. First of all, you remember you had spoke about a man named Scott, was it Scott Stalls?
Yes.
Is that the right? Yeah. He was definitely fast. Do you remember a guy named Ryan Lopez? Is that ring a bell?
Yes.
He was from Loganville, Georgia. So that's where the track is. And, he now lives out in Texas. And I still talk to him. And now back to Jackson Brunson. Down at, there's an indoor track. Don't know exactly how many years ago that it has been closed now, but it's called Hot Shots.
Okay.
Indoor track in Marietta. And the first time I ever met Jackson Brunson was at Hot Shots. He was a little bitty kid, had a short course truck. That was back when I was about 32, 45 now. And boy, he just thought the world of how, I used to be pretty decent at 10 scale. So, and it just made my day. The little kid come up and just wanted to get to know me. And now can't touch him. He's fast. And
he's doing really well.
Yeah,
he is.
I'm proud of him. I told him you might be beating me, but just be humble. People's looking up to you now. So I'm glad to be able to meet him, and I'm glad he's doing good. And he's going to the Worlds, actually. And I want to say good luck to you, Jackson, at the Worlds.
Yeah, I'll see him there. I think I think he's going to be a wild card in that. It's going to be interesting to see. The Worlds is going to be very interesting. Ryan Lopez, I remember. Do you remember Chris Cruz?
That don't ring a bell too much to me.
I think he was from Virginia. He was an X-ray driver. He was really good in that area. Yeah. He used to race like a lot. Like this is him, Daniel Eichhoff, Bobby Moore, Glenn Harrison. This is the guys that I kind of was racing or knew from the Southeast back in it. I used to come in. I was in North Carolina back in like 2004, 2005.
Oh, yeah.
So I know a lot of people from back in the day, and then, of course, Georgia and all that stuff.
There's been
good stuff, man.
Yeah, been a lot of fast racers come out of this area. Some of them don't race anymore. Like Griffin Hanna was one of them. I'm trying to think. Chandler, can't think of his last name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Chandler. He been a lot of fast racers out of the Carolinas. Have a lot of fast racers.
Yeah,
you got Evan Vale. You got these kids now are just amazing fast. Like, you got little Kay Burnett running fast now.
Oh, he's from Georgia. He's doing really well. I was super impressed with him at his dad and him at RCG. I had to give him a hug. He was so upset at RCGP because he didn't win. And I was like, dude, you killed it all weekend. He was fast.
Yeah,
he was very passionate. He was very passionate. Yeah. It's good to see. That's good to see as well. The youth coming up. We need them. And it's all right for us old farts to be in her. But we need to uplift those young guys and show and put them on a pedestal as well. Let's talk about Loganville. So impressive facility. How long has it been around? How long have you been in charge of it? And tell us a little bit about that.
So I don't know the full history on Loganville, but I do know a guy named I think his name was Chris started it, and then when I found the place, it was being ran by Charles Young and Joe, and they had it for years. And I want to say that track, I started back over there racing with them in 2011, and I loved the place. It reminded me of the Sugar Bowl. The first time I pulled up, it was sort of back in the woods. It's behind the gas station out there in the country, but yet close to food and things you can get to. And I really loved it. It's been there. I think I would be venturing to say at least 5 or 6 years before I even found the place out there. So it's been around a while. It's been established. It's in a perfect spot for people to come to the track. Because if you pull up Loganville, as far as where Atlanta is, and people from above the perimeter, below the perimeter, and people from Augusta can get there in about, I'm guessing, around 2 hours max. It's just in a good spot for everybody to kind of get there. And the numbers at the club races show, we're very, very happy and fortunate for all these people supporting Loganville. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous when I took that place over.
The track's a lot of work.
Yeah,
it's like having another family. It really is.
It's a full-time. The phone never stops ringing. As a matter of fact, I've got the phone sitting right here, and I'm worried to death. I need to put it on silent.
You're like me. Put the do not disturb one. That's what I do.
It never stops ringing.
So do you run it on your own, or are there a group of people that do this with you?
So there are several people that need to get recognition for Loganville, because no one man can run an RC track. I don't care what they say. First of all, my wife, for stepping up and calling the races. Not many race directors are female. So Susan has really learned a lot from Lance McDonald. So another person is Lance McDonald I have to think about for guiding my wife to be able to get the knowledge to figure out all this stuff, how to run the program, the live RC and all that stuff. And so thank you, Lance, for helping with getting us going. Bob Malfers was another one that helped us get going with live RC and all that stuff. And or lifetime, I should say. And then of course, Brian Burnett, he builds the tracks. He helps us out at Loganville with promotions, the SOS series. Everybody has a piece of the pie, and without all the ingredients, we wouldn't have what we have today, because it's the racers, it's the support from the racers. Obviously, without racers, you can't have an establishment. But we try our best to provide the absolute best track for the racers, because I'm an analogy kind of guy. There's a fast food restaurant on every corner of America. You can go get a burger almost at any place you want to go get a burger. I don't know about you, but we love sweet tea here in the South. So, but if you have a good burger and you have awful sweet tea, and you have you got a competitor down the road that can give you the burger and the sweet tea, but not only that, you get good customer service, where are you going to go spend your money?
You're going
and that's how I treat the track. Just because it's a club race day don't mean that I don't go out there and drag that track, prepare that track as if I would for a big race, because that's what I try to do. I want to give the customer, the racers, the best surface to come race on that I can possibly give them. Now, Mother Nature sometimes don't allow that to happen. I have to kind of work with what she gives us, but I think people see the hard work and what, Loganville is doing, not just me, but especially the help that we have. That's what we're trying to do, is provide a good quality race. And I'm telling you, the racers are answering. They are coming. I mean, there are several club races we've had over 100 entries at. So
when do you do club races, during the week or just on the weekends?
We held one last Saturday. We had 70 entries. And what we do is we just go on Facebook and we just tell people, hey, we got a website, Loganville RC So we got two different ways in case some people don't use Facebook. They can go on there and see. But we'll go about Wednesday and look at the weather. Most of the time on Wednesday, you can really get a better idea if the weather's going to cooperate or not. And we post it up. We have a guy come out, cooks food for us. His name's Ken the Hot Dog Man. We call him Ken the Hot Dog Man. And he does a phenomenal job. Been around since the Sugar Bowl. He actually used to be at the Sugar Bowl. He came from the Sugar Bowl. So, yeah.
Interesting, because it takes a community to do things. I recently just came from over in the UK watching for RCGP, and we was the Nemo Raceway. That's where we was at. And John Hazelwood had like his whole team over there helping out, so everybody was doing that little bit to make that go smoothly. And it wouldn't have been as good if it would, it's just impossible to do on your own. And he didn't stop moving the entire time. I've built a track. I know how hard I put on 2 races. That's all I've done. And that was difficult. So to run a track, it's really, really, the word I'm looking for is it's a job, a selfless job. You don't get as much thing. Or you get complained to a lot, but you don't get as much thanks as you should. And when you have a community base like this going on, it makes it a lot easier, because you can't do it all. So I'm glad that you have people doing that. Where is the track located? Is it like in a park? Is it is it on private land? How does it work like?
Well, it's actually on private property, and we actually rent the facility. It was left to the daughter. The man that owned it had passed away. Now it's left to the daughter. I think she's in her 50s. Okay. And she wants it to continue to keep happening because of her dad was like, I really want this place to be here. You got when they come out and see fathers, sons, daughters, everybody, it could be. I've seen guys bring kids it's not even theirs to race, and let them drive a car. When they see that fellowship, I think that's what touches their heart, and that's why it's there, because she wants it to be there, and I want it, and I want it to be there for that reason too. I want it to be there for keep kids off the streets. There's too many things on the streets people could be doing, and RC racing is clean, good fun, and that's what we need to remember. Is when you're on that driver's stand, we get emotional. And I know you see it at the track. You get emotional, but I'm telling you, we're very blessed to be able to go race our toy cars.
We are fortunate. We are very fortunate, man. I say that every day. I wake up and be like, I am fortunate that I get to do this for a living. Yeah. And it's so. I think what aggravates me is that I think it's so cool, and I want new people. I just think we need to get thousands and thousands of new people into this. Yeah. And I just realized that it's just a trickle. Speaking of new people, how do you guys go about that? I did hear about, it was my buddy, Michael Kuntz. He messaged me one day, about last year, I think, and he goes, Lefty, I just went to this Loganville and they had these signs up and it was for new people. And it said, hey, don't be afraid. Ask me questions. I'm here to help you. So each sign said something different. And I thought that was really good to do something like that, because a lot of people are scared to ask questions. You know, I'm not like that. I ask whatever questions I want. I know some people aren't. So tell us a little bit about that, getting new people in it. What have you seen success with? Maybe people not having the, you know, when you see new people show up to your track and like, hey, I want to race this type of car. And maybe, you know, tell us how you do with that type of stuff.
All right. So being a racer myself, I was literally laying in bed one night and my wife was, I mean, it was dark and I literally sat up and I said, oh my gosh, I think I've got an idea. And my wife said, what are you doing? You know, like, what are you doing? And I said, I have an idea. And she's like, it's about the track, ain't it? And I said, yeah, it is. And I said, you know what we should try is I get all these messages, private messages. Hey, I've got this Traxxas Stampede. I've got this Traxxas Rustler. I've got this whatever brands you get from probably like your Hobby Town USA's, you know, kind of stores. And these guys are what they call bashers, I guess is what they call them. They go out and buy something. They play with it in the grass, the baseball field, jumping ramps, whatever they're doing. And they finally find out, hey, there's a racetrack for these. And then they call, and every time they kept calling, they were like, we were telling them, no, you need to get, you know, an 8 scale. They're not going to be, you know, you just know how those cars, they'll get around the track. Don't get me wrong. But what happens to those guys is they come to the track, they break their cars, and nobody has parts, and they go home. You know, because we're racing, we're racing Associated, Techno, Hot Bodies, you know, the whole 9 yards. So then I got to thinking, well, wait a minute. Instead of turning them away, we need to have what we call a novice class. Run what you brung, run what you got, run what mom and dad bought you for Christmas, whatever the case may be. So we posted it. Novice, run what you got. We had about 5 on the first weekend, and the next thing you know, we had 10, 15, 20. We were up to over 20 entries at a novice run what you brung class. But the number one question we kept getting was, am I going to be in the way? Am I going to be embarrassed? I don't want to be laughed at. I want to come practice. I get so many questions like, when can I come practice? And I was like, listen, tell you what I'll do. We're going to pass out business cards to Hobbytown USA, to B&B Hobby Shop, to all these little hobby shops around our area with a business card that says, if you buy this car kit from this hobby shop, you come to Loganville, you'll get your first race on us for free. It's not about the money. We want to introduce you to the hobby, because if we don't want you spending $1,500, $1,600, $2,000 on an RC car and you hate it, it may not be for you. And the next thing you know, that is the number one piece of advice I've got for these track owners. If you want to grow your hobby, you need to try that. Go to the local hobby shop. Tell them where make sure your address is on the business card. Make sure if you got a website, put that on there. And then if you'll let them run what they got. Now, don't get me wrong. We don't allow 5th scales on our track because they'll tear it up.
Right.
But as far as like what they sell at, like I said, your local hobby shop around your area, they can bring that car out there. And I'm telling you, if these guys really like it, they will find that used car that that racer at the track is trying to sell for a roller for $250, $300, whatever the case may be. And next thing you know, he's got a hot body, he's a Techno Associated, he's got a Mugen, whatever is at your track. They're going to buy that car, or they may even go out and buy a brand new chassis. And they may even say, hey, I'm glad I didn't buy a car. I like truggies. They may love the truggies. So that's what we focused on to build up the track and the hobby.
That's good, because we need those people. Mark Santaria does a good job. He's trying to bridge the gap between basher and racer. And even this past race, me and my buddy, we invited this guy over in England. He's like he's got like 3 million subs on YouTube. He's called Kevin Talbot, and I always heard him on his bashing thing, and he, you know, this is what he does for a living, like RC stuff. And he does some racing now and then, and he says, people keep shouting at you if you don't turn marshal them properly or whatever, and you know, doesn't like that. And he says that a lot of people make him feel uncomfortable, and we can do that because we get in these RC bubbles, you know, whether we're mechanicking and we're thrashing, and what in the heat of the moment, and we're not seeing this guy that's coming in and talking to us. So I think we all have to be RC ambassadors, like you said, and we have to make the effort to go out and get these new people and make a class for them, make them feel welcome, and nurture them, because maybe not all 20 will be racers, maybe 5 will be, but that's 5 more racers that you have. So yeah, good idea. You sound like me. I wake up in the middle of the night with ideas as well. It's crazy when you can't sleep. But that's good, and it's obviously working for you guys. You guys are paying the bills. I know that's like one of the hardest things to do, running a track, is like just paying the bills for this. But it's just a work of passion. It's simple. Every track that I've been to is exactly the same. It's people that are passionate. Some people are more passionate and do a better job. Some people aren't as passionate, and some people just do it. So it's really good to see, and it's hard, and we need all tracks to be firing on all these cylinders. You know what I mean? We need to keep the racer happy, but we need to focus on the new people, because we need them. We need them desperately.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about Loganville before we move on and talk about your big race that you have coming up here in September?
Just to retouch on some things, I just want to say thank you to everybody once again that's made Loganville such a success. We are so blessed. We have had some of the top pros in the world come visit our track. Adam Drake, Spencer Rivkin, Ryan Pavitas, Jackson Brunson, Cole Ogden. I'm probably missing some.
You've had a lot.
There's so many. And then of course, as a track owner, my first question is, how'd you like the track? And the human nature is nobody's going to tell you I hated it, but I think they really liked it. They continue calling, wanting to know if they can come back when they're in town. So that tells me they like it. So
what about layouts? When you make layouts, do you think, okay, I'm going to make this layout difficult, or do I think I'm going to make it so everybody can do it? Because you have to have some give and take for that. Like, I mean, if it's a big race and you're going to have a new layout for a whole race, I get it. You're going to put probably the most gnarly race track you can put in. But just for having your club races and stuff like this, does that become a factor?
So, yeah, we tried a just super advanced layout one time, and we learned real quick, sportsmen pay your bills. So
that's true.
So if you're at a club race level, and when we say club race, I think that's a term back in the 90s where you had to be in a club. I guess I mean a race that anybody's welcome to come to. That's what I should start saying. Because I think a lot of times we go online, we say club race, and I get these messages, hey, do I need to be in a club to come race at your track? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. It's just an old term from the 90s. I think club races used to be, I remember back in the days, you had to have the roar card and all that stuff.
It's still like that in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, very much like that.
Yeah. So, it's just, I think going back to layouts, I want to say if you keep it simple, but not too simple, because then the more advanced racers will get bored and look elsewhere. But if you make it too hard, then the sportsman guys will look elsewhere. So it's a fine line. But like I said, Brian Burnett builds our layouts. He's going to build the layout for the Peach State Classic. And from me just listening and take, if you listen to the racers, you can learn a lot. They seem to like his layouts pretty good. So I think he does a good job. Everything that we test each jump to make sure that if we put a triple, we want to make sure that just because Cade Burnett might be able to make it, or some of your pro guys like Jackson Brunson can make it, don't mean that the average guy can't make it. So what we do is we'll take what we consider would be an average racer, invite him up to the track while we're building it, and then we'll have an advanced driver and then like a middle driver, and we'll let them all go through one turn, jump to jump, and ask them, hey, how did you like it? Well, it's a little hard for me, or no, it's good. And then we'll kind of go from there. Because we know that when you build a fresh layout, the traction's low. And of course, as the traction comes up, it's going to be easier for everybody to do it. But if you can do it when it's on, I guess you call a green track or loose conditions, and you can make the jumps, then it's just going to get easier to do as it grooves up and that's how we kind of judge each jump. And then of course our landings, a lot of jumps are more, if you'll notice, some tracks are built like this, where it's like a triangle. We try to make it to where there's a good landing, so it's smooth for if you over jump it, so
yeah, much needed. And it's very forgiving on cars. So I appreciate that. So good stuff, man. I know it's hard to please everybody. It's so hard.
It is.
2022 Peach State Classic taking place on September 16th to 18th. It is being held in Raybun Arena, which is an arena similar. I have to say this, similar to Wicked Weekend. It is a roof. All the sides are opening. For me, it's the best way to have an indoor race because all the fumes go outside. You get some breeze coming through. Tell us a little bit about this. How did this come about? I know it. It's kind of, you kind of have to put these big races under a roof in the Southeast. It's just mandatory with the weather to have a guaranteed race. We have some of the biggest, best indoor races in the world being held in the Southeast. You guys are kind of jumping into that. Tell us a little bit about this race and what people can expect.
So we have been running the Peach State Classic. It's been a race held at Loganville for years. Even before I got the track, there was the Peach State Classic was the name of it then. We changed that name to the Georgia Peach State Classic whenever I took the track over. But it's going to be held at Raybun Arena. It's up in Tiger, Georgia. And the closest town to that is Clayton, Georgia. So the guys that's coming in looking for accommodations, you want to look in Clayton, Georgia. That's where your Chick-fil-A's, your hotels, your McDonald's, your Mexican restaurants, all that good stuff's up there in Clayton. And of course, it's real close to the Tallulah Gorge, which is a historical landmark in Georgia. It's just up in the mountains, and the reason we want to do it indoors is because we want the racers to have a guaranteed experience. And it's so hard, like you said, to have I don't think these racers fully know the work that we put into getting these big races put on, calling sponsors, getting trophies made, lining up people to come into these races, getting goods sent to the races to give out to the racers, donations and sponsorship items, like tires, and it could be bodies and all that. You go through all this stuff, and then boom, the bottom falls out, and it's like, oh, because you put so much work into it. So I said, enough's enough. I'm gonna take a gamble. I'm gonna rent out this arena. We've had such a good following, the Southern Off-Road Series, and people love Loganville. And I'm like, you know what? I think we've got enough support now to where we need to put this race indoors at Raybun Arena, give the racers what they want, and have a guaranteed race. So when you take off of work, when you go to that boss man 2 weeks ahead of time and say, I need this date off, it's guaranteed now. There's nothing going to stop it besides Mother Nature, as far as as long as a tornado don't take the place down, we're good. And that's what we recognize these bigger sponsors want. I mean, they want to know if they send Tyler Jones this year is coming from Techno to this race. He's confirmed. Thank you, John Bernard Jr. from Florida. He's the regional manager down there for lining that all up. Mm-hmm. And Techno has really, really jumped on board in this race. And thank you. But back to the arena. I mean, you got to have that indoor guaranteed race to where the racers can know that when they come, they can take off work and come and play with these cars, and they know they're going to make it all the way through from the beginning all the way through the main. So, yeah, that's why we're moving it indoors. It's definitely not a competitive move with any other brand. This race has been going for years. I mean, we did it last year. We had Adam Drake, flew him out here to the race. I'm telling you, it rained about 6 inches. And I'm not kidding. It rained about 6 inches from the week before he got here. And I'm sitting there going, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So we got a tip from a track up in the Carolinas. They use peat moss on their dirt to dry it out. So we went out and spent $700 on peat moss. And we spread it all over the track, took a drag, drug it around the track. And sure enough, it dried it right up, and we raced. And I think Adam Drake was like, wow, that I never would have thought you guys could have got this thing ready to race on, but awesome. You know, and yeah, I mean, that's where I think the racers see the hard work. They see us do whatever it takes to make it happen. And that.
So yeah, that's good. That's a lot of work. I was watching the guys before I just know I'm seeing it so many times. It's so much work. So this indoor track, tell us a little bit. Has there ever been an RC race up there? Similar type of dirt that we see at these indoor races. Is it the similar type of dirt we see in these indoor races?
Yeah.
So at race time.
Yes, I sent Brian up there actually Friday. He went up there to take a look at the dirt, meet with the owner, ask how deep down we could dig, and everything. Check out the accommodations. They got a water truck, packer roller, everything. We're having a skid steer brought in. Got all that set up. The dirt is similar to the Chicopee Woods Agricultural Center down in Gainesville, Georgia, and that's where they do hold the race time events there.
Okay.
It's like that, but it's like a gray colored clay, and it's but you know, Brian made a video. He balled it up in his hand. It compacts real well into a good clay ball. So no races have ever been held at this facility yet. This will be the first time ever that an RC race has hit Raybun Arena, and the guys really excited. So we are too. So.
Good stuff. I guess you guys are gonna go all out on this track, like go crazy.
Yeah, I think you know, we're not gonna keep. We want it to. Okay, so again, I want it to be fun for everybody. I want it to be a good experience for everybody. Like you said, you can't please everybody, but I think if we give enough run up coming off the corners and make it where the guys can clear the jumps, take into accountability that there's a possibility that it could progress into some ruts or holes like you see at these arena races. You'll get these. Yes. I'm not sure the word to use, but like the little holes with the sharp edges.
Yes.
We don't know yet. We really don't know yet, but we think it's going to hold together pretty good. But we want to count in the fact that if it does get a little rough, you still have enough run up to, we want it to be where you can clear the jump. So that's our goal. This is our first year doing this indoors, and I feel very confident that Brian can throw a good layout in. He travels all over the place putting in layouts for easily South Carolina. I think RC3's put one in over there in Alabama. Put one in, put several in for Loganville. He's went down to Barnesville, put some in. He's busy. Yeah,
he's busy. Yeah. How about driver stay on pit lane? You guys are gonna make all of that as well? Like
yeah. So I've been working on that since November. And it's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of work. So it's all complete. It's all ready to go. And now just got to load it all up in about 27 days from now, I think. If I'm doing the math right, we got to be up there on the 12th. So we'll be there the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. And then, of course, practice open 16th on Friday. And then 17th is Saturday, the mains or the qualifiers on the 17th, and then the 18th should be the Sunday for the main. So
how will practice? Will it be open or open practice?
Yeah, it'll be just like your typical. Like if you went to an arena race around here, we got Lance McDonald coming calling a race, so he's going to run it the way he runs. The race is all if you're used to going to a Lance McDonald race, you'll be right at home. So
3-day race, 3 qualifiers on Saturday. How long are your mains? I think you said possibly double A mains for electrics as well. I mean, yeah, double A mains for electrics.
Yeah. So of course, the length of that will probably come down to I would say the entries. You know what I mean? So, but typically, what you got from the race that was in Gainesville is what you'll probably get there. Is what what I'm probably thinking Lance will do as far as his links on his runtime. Yeah.
All right. I see you've been really active on Facebook. Everybody that's coming is getting confirmed. That's cool. I like that. I see you got Danny coming in from WRCE with Lance. Does a great job. Danny does all my work, like all my intros and all that stuff for me now. In fact, I was just talking to him today because I'm getting an intro done for the Worlds. So we're gonna have some coverage. That's good. Yeah, that's what I appreciate more. You know, being able to watch this race and see what you guys are doing. And I think the more content that we have out there in the algorithms, in the atmosphere out there in the interwebs, is the better is for RC. So that's great. I'm glad you thought of that, because you know it's always easy to say we don't need it, you know, but you do need it in the end, and that's how I think that's how manufacturers judge their races, and then they start sending people to those races as well. What's going to give us the best online presence? So yeah, you got a lot of work ahead of you, man. A lot of work.
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I've got a lot of sponsors that's jumping on board.
Sure.
And I would love to sometime during this podcast to make sure I thank them. But I tell you what, the phone's been ringing off the hooks. Troy, I think Hanson from Main Hobbies, and he's sending out a package. We've got Hot Bodies, Chad Phillips from up at Absolute Hobby sending a kit to give away. Associated gave us a B3.2 kit and a B74.1 kit. They gave us a charger, hat, shirts. Ogo Tires has come out and gave us 4 full sets of tires to give away. J Concepts is sponsoring the race. They sent some banners and sent in a goodie box full of stuff. Techno sent a kit. S-Works, Ryan. I'm going to mess up this last name. He's going to kill me. But it's spelled Lecuyr.
Lecuyr.
I can't say it. I'm so sorry.
Ryan.
But Ryan is coming. I'm so glad he's coming with S-Works. He's giving away some stuff. I want to say it's a kit, car kits. Yeah, I'm probably forgetting some people.
You got I got your sponsor. You got Rhino Racing, Beach RC, Reedy. You got quite Wolf Den. That's Kyle Neary and his track Nitro Pro, Capital Roofing. You got a non-RC guy coming in. TNR that sponsors here. On Point Graphics, Associated. Yeah, that's good stuff. You got a lot of good stuff to give away to people.
Yeah,
I think people should come to your race. We'll be following it. That's for sure.
I want to thank Kyle Neary, especially for making that promo video. I don't know if you guys seen it or not from the Wolf Den. He made a promo video, and it's really good. It shows the arena from a drone view, and of course TNR Fuels, Tyrone Eccles, Chris Nelson, and thank you guys for supporting us. I think Raceline Designs is sponsoring this. They're going to give away. Everybody's going to basically. Here's a hint. If you're running Sportsman, you might want to come to this race. So. I think you're going to be getting a lot of goodies back in this race.
Nice.
We're targeting the class that probably could use some of these products. So, and I want to thank those sponsors for trusting in us to run this race and sending it. We are not raffling this stuff off, guys. We're giving it away.
Good stuff. What classes are we? So we got Sportsman, E-Buggy, Truggy, Nitro Buggy, Intermediate, Pro, E-Truggy. I'm sure you have E-Truggy because E-Truggy is huge in the Southeast.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we have 4-wheel SCT, 15 and under E-Buggy. A lot of guys are calling me saying, what is 15U E-Buggy? That is 15 years of age or younger.
Okay.
And it's an E-Buggy class. And we really want the kids to jump in that. Of course, I think there's going to be some goodies giveaway in that class too. So don't forget about that. Sportsman E-Buggy, Sportsman Nitro Buggy. Of course, our 40-plus E-Buggy and Nitro Buggies. Intermediate E-Buggy, Intermediate Nitro Buggy, Pro E-Buggy, Pro Nitro Buggy, Pro Nitro Truggy, Intermediate Nitro Truggy, Pro E-Truggy, and Intermediate E-Truggy is the classes we are going to be running. So if you go to Peach State Classic on Facebook, we got it right on our flyer. So we invite you to take a look at that and come visit.
There will be a link in the written description. $75 per class, people. If you're looking for a good race to go attend, good people to support, go check them out. They're going to have coverage. It looks like they're going to have a good mix of the what I think is going to be good is for the local pros. Like it's going to be a lot of the fast guys there that are local. You know, I got to see that a lot of them at RCGP, and I've gotten to know a lot of them, a lot of the fast young guys. I look forward to that. Those guys are exciting to watch. They race. And of course, you have some of your top pros coming out. Tyler Jones. Yeah, that's good to see. Yeah, man, I wish you all the best. I know this is a big step for you. I know anytime you go on the roof, it's always an added expense, and you have to reach that entry to make do. So I wish you all the best. I hope if you're listening to this podcast and you think you want to try out this race, check it out. I've been telling Mitch to go to this race, and Cody and those guys would be a good race for them to go to. Keep up your good work with Loganville. We need that. If you guys are in that area, check them out. Go support them. So go club race with them, and keep doing what you do for the Southeast racing community, man. This is what keeps RC going. You know, people like you. So good job and good luck at with your race, man. And if anything that we can do to help you, we will.
Awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time to help me with getting the Peach State out there. And also want to thank Inspirator for somebody that inspired me to do this RC track owning thing. That'd be my uncle Tim Moon. He used to run Coral Springs years ago back in the 90s. And Tim Moon, if anybody knows him from Coral Springs, kind of looked up to him running that track down there and getting it back going. And yeah, I enjoy it now myself. So yeah.
Good stuff. That's what you have to do. You have to enjoy this. You know, if you don't, it doesn't make sense. All right, Mark. Well, thank you for your time. Good luck. And I look forward to watching your race online here. The dates are September 16th to 18th. Remember, everybody, entry fee is $75. It's a guaranteed race. I think you're going to have a good time. These guys put on a good show. And thank you, man. Have good luck to you guys.
Thank you, Keenan.
All right. Thank you to Mark for his time. Now we're going to go on to the Beach RC Bench Racing Q&A. Thank you to Beach RC for all their support.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
And thank you to Brent and Lucas and everybody at Beach RC. I look forward to seeing all of you guys in October. Well, I see Brent in September. He's coming to the Worlds. Thank you to everybody for the questions. We do have an affiliate link for this. If you guys can use it, it helps us out. It is in the written description of this podcast. All right. So we're going to go through these questions. We have quite a few. We have some from our Discord. If you haven't, I know our Discord's been kind of flat. Maybe we haven't been talking much on there, but everybody can talk, not just us. So we have a couple of questions from there. First one up from Jake Barrett. Jake Barrett. Do the Fiorani TAP or tap pistons actually work or provide other benefits over other pistons such as the MIP bypass or the VRP V3 pistons?
So the TAP pistons are a piston that has a ball that you lock from the
There's
other
a few
side.
ball bearings.
Yeah, so it has 2 or 4. They have a few sets. So on the other way, it releases oil. On the other way, it keeps stuck. So that's basically the same idea as the MIP piston, just done differently. And I guess it's fine. I don't find any.
What is this? What is the
issue
theory
with it.
behind the ball bearings? How does it work again? Explain it to me real quick.
Yeah, so the ball is inside a hole that's sort of smaller from the other end.
Mhm.
So you have a ball it can't move further than this. So when the oil is coming from this side, it will push it here. But then on the other side, it can release a bit. So then when the oil is coming from the other side, it releases the oil through the ball.
Okay, so it just releases the oil faster or slower, pretty much.
Yeah, so exactly. So other side, it's stiff. The other side, it's softer. Same with the shim on the MIP pistons.
So basically, even the VRP pistons have, I think they have the flaps. It's all basic concept of closing something off and allowing it to open so more oil can get through. That's the basic concept, right?
Yeah. So all of them pretty much work very similarly, and just the assembly and all that is a bit different.
Okay. All right, B-main. When running on Astro, one used a combo of wheels or Schumacher staggers in the front and mini pins in the rear. Is there any time you could benefit from running a different kind of tire or compound in the front and rear when running on dirt or other kinds of tracks?
Yeah, definitely. I have done it before, running triple disc in the front and reflex in the rear. I think we had a question like this before in the podcast already, but basically there can be lots of benefits. I believe Lutz does this quite often. He runs zip packs or whatever it was. There is a place for it, but you need to kind of know what you're looking for. But basically, a good choice is a tire that turns for the front and a tire that feels really calm for the rear. So triple D's and reflex is a perfect combination. And I can't think of anything from other brands. But
well, remember we had I think it's more about compounds and stuff. Remember we had the Bow Fighters. I think that was the first mix of tires. Then you had the Impact City Block combination as well with AKA. So there's been various different combinations. And Lutz is one of them guys who uses a different combination, especially. I think we're going to see some of that at the Worlds coming up here, especially with the AKA guys. All right, next question. This is actually a good question. And when he asked it, it made me think. Any thoughts on electric moving to smaller batteries and even shorter mains instead of finally making the use of battery tech and running longer mains? So basically, this is from Kappa Lappen. I think it's from Germany. So basically what it's trying to say is cars are being designed to have smaller batteries, lighter weight, less runtime. Instead of, he's saying, why aren't we going in the other direction and design cars to have more runtime so we get longer races from electric? So my point with that to be is that we need to make these cars lighter. Maybe the battery tech needs to get better. So you get, as it is, you get more MAHs or more runtime with a smaller pack. Because now cars are being designed to run small packs, and it's not going to go in the other direction now.
I actually think we should be running short course engines on the electric cars. You know, those smaller diameter engines. I think they're short course engines.
So you want the engine, you want the power to go down.
Yeah, definitely. That way we can still use small batteries and get more runtime. And also I think that will balance off the difference between nitro buggy and e-buggy in terms of weight and feeling. So
cost.
I see
because those batteries are cheaper.
Cost, yeah. So I think that's the optimal way. I don't think we should increase milliamp size. We should decrease it constantly a bit. But I think we should make up rules so that the electronics would make it possible to run longer mains.
Okay.
So I think
so keep the battery size, change the motor size, make it to a smaller can, a regular like 10 scale, which in fact will make it lighter.
Yeah. And and for people who say, oh, it's not good, I used it and I preferred it actually because it felt more similar to my nitro. So that's the best.
I doubt people's going to want less power though. I doubt that's going to happen.
No, but I think it's much better for everyone. They are cheaper. They break less easy. The power is still enough. I can't think of much negatives. They're lighter. Yeah, everything is positive.
Okay. All right. Good question. And then Robert Parente asked, why no West Coast RCGP? We explained that earlier. All right. Benjamin James, looking at the driver list for next month, IFMAR Worlds, is there a driver who could be this year's Cody King 2010 world champion and surprise the favorites. Yes, I will say his name is Mason Fuller. Even though I don't think it's a surprise, I think he's the one who can surprise everybody.
Yeah, I think Mason Fuller would be the Cody King of the world.
Not that I'm not saying that he can't. I don't expect him to win a Worlds at some point.
Oh no. No, not right now though. He most likely won't win. But if he would, that would be a Cody King moment. I think there isn't very many outliers. I think Berton could be one of those people.
One of them too.
But he already has won a European Championship, so it's not a total surprise. But it would be outside of the main picks.
Okay, so Connie Svensson of House of RC asks, is Max better than Pekko in 1.8? He beat him at the latest Finnish Nationals, but Pekko has been very impressive this summer at RCGP. And he didn't drive a Mayako at this race where Max beat him. But Pekko's wing also came off. So
yeah, I mean, but he was slower all day. Pekko was actually not doing very well at this race. Jono was much more closer to me. He had better best laps most runs, but I was usually faster than him over longer runs. He was fast in the semi, but in the main, I felt pretty. I got into a lead at the start, and then I mean, I was like half a lap in front of everyone since then.
Okay.
You want to have some crashes.
The big question is, what is Pekko going to drive at the Worlds? Is it going to be a Mayako or AE? When I was at RCGP,
I think
AE.
I asked him recently now again, and he said it's going to be AE.
I think what RCGP did do was help show the world Pekko. Like, you know,
Yeah,
everybody's asking, talking about it.
That's gonna be good. And to Connie's question, I don't think I'm a better 8-scale driver necessarily, but
I think you're a better mechanic.
I do. Yeah, I'm definitely that. I'm a better mechanic, and most likely I have the car sort of. I understand what I need from the car to do well, whereas he sort of he might understand what he wants, but he doesn't know how to get to it.
I know what you mean.
That's often what might hurt him a bit. But as a purely driver, I think he is better.
Okay.
I can be really fast, but I think he's better mentally in longer mains or even 5-minute runs. He's better.
Okay. Savage Joe Zaire Jr. of Ran Out of Talent podcast. He's geeking out over fifth scale. He's got a fifth scale. They actually have a spec class where you can only change the servo, and he's bought like this super tough body for it that costs about $200. And he's like, how much you think I could sell his actual physical body for so I can afford to build a mod fifth scale truck for Silver State? Well, I answered him, lot lizard, dealing quantity, not quality. Yeah, as Joe is freaking out over fifth scale, I really like it. But to keep up with those boys, them fifth scale cars at Silver State, you're gonna have to spend some money. You're gonna have to spend some money. I love it though. Jamie Docking, got to meet him at RCGP. It was very nice. Thank you to his wife for allowing him to come up for the second day. Very nice to meet him. Here's a question I should have asked JQ at RCGP. If you have a car with a lot of steering, is it better to dial the steering out with setup or just reduce dual rate on the radio?
Always better to do it out with setup, because then you will have a calmer car. That'll be easier to drive, and you feel you have enough steering. Whereas the dual rate will just reduce the angle of the tires, the maximum angle, and keep the aggressiveness of the front end there.
Okay. Connie, we're going to come back to your ROI question last. Benjamin James, second question. Lamberto Calari, 9-time IFMAR World Champion and 8-scale on-road, finished 6th at the Euros last week. Is there a driver currently active other than Calari who you are surprised is still active? Greg Degani, but to my mind, but what do you think? I think to add to that
but
list,
I think the interesting thing about Calari is that he is still good. He's still finishing top 10 at every Euros.
Yes, but the depth in the on-road field is not to the depth of the off-road field. Let's put it that way.
Yes, but I think he's still better than Degani.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that he isn't. I'm not saying it isn't.
But
who comes to mind is Miguel Matias.
Yeah.
I could see Miguel Matias. I could see Miguel Matias in the freaking semis at the Worlds, and not be surprised.
Yeah.
Or maybe
I
Yannick
think you're right.
or Igon, one of them guys.
Yeah, but I think Iguan and those guys are a bit younger than Golare, because Golare is even older than them.
Matias is in his 40s, I would say. But yeah, Kalari is
Yeah, I
definitely
think
older.
so. Yeah.
All right,
Clark's
Jay
probably
Zelna. Jay Zelna, of course, any answers? I mean, it's just, I guess it's Adrian's beast. I guess it's based off the performer stuff. It's looking pretty good out there. I mean, Ronafog's motor was. Hey, Ronafog was pulling those guys down the straightaway at Nemo. Like, no problem.
Yeah, it has a lot of power and still very good mileage. It's very, and it's crazy because it has the same amount of power as the OS, but it's so much more controllable, which I was surprised about. But yeah, okay. I tried when I tried David's car. I had a chance to try the engine as well. So,
I guess they're coming out soon.
Excited to see when they're releasing, but I think it's this summer should be released.
Yeah, soon, very soon. Chris Trudeau, I'm just gonna mute you because your girlfriend's just watching something in the back. It may have already been discussed, but what is one aspect of RC racing that the Americans do better than the Europeans? What aspect do Europeans have over Americans? What is one negative aspect they both have in common that needs to improve? I would say the Americans are very good at jumping. They're very good, but the Europeans have learned as well. I think that the Europeans are better at clearing corner speed because of the type of tracks that they have, where they have to carry corner speed. The one negative thing about Europeans is that they expect all races to be like European races, I would say, and it just isn't.
Yeah.
And I see the one negative thing about the American races is that they don't go over to Europe to race enough, which aggravates me. So I would think that's my two biggest thing. And the two biggest things that I think they both do is that they don't take the professional side of RC serious. And that's just a common thing across the board. That would be my theory on that. But when it comes to physical attributes, I think that the Europeans are just corner speed is hard to learn. Jumps don't win a race. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if you can carry corner speed, you can learn how to jump, So, and that's all I think. John Wolf, can we bring RCGP to Brookthorpe Model Car Club next year, seeing as it's one of the greatest RC tracks I've ever been to personally? I think it'd be rude not to. I mean, Brookthorpe's nice. I met Chris Lovell. I pitted for him. It'd be nice. It's like a mix between carpet and oiled, your favorite surface, oiled dirt. So who knows?
Yeah, but it is a nice track, but I don't think. Yeah, I think Brexit will make things much harder for the future.
No, Brexit's in effect. So
yeah, but I mean, maybe it will get easier then. But Brexit's gonna make it harder to go to UK.
Well, maybe for JQ, who's actually English and having a hard time getting there. So, all right, my boy Kevin Mendes, he goes, man, it's too early. I just knocked off, just worked all night. My question is, my track has this little technical S section that when approaching in there's a little single kick up jump, maybe 8 feet away from the turn. But I see other racers take the jump and be nice and flat in the air for the turn. And then as in the turn, my truck, every time I would hit it, my truck would be nervous as it gets its endoing over the jump. So my question is it a ride height problem? Basically, I have the rear end up a couple of meters higher than the front. Should I level it out, or is this? Yeah, so I would think it's a lot to do with ride height as well. Maybe you have it too low, and then once you come, you also got to, maybe them guys aren't. You got to figure out how them guys are applying throttle over that jump too. Are they going full wood? Are they caressing it? It's a lot of things that could be done in that, But yeah, definitely. Yeah. Also, you want to check your ride height by millimeters. So you want to get a ride height gauge and just make sure you're sticking to around the required millimeter count.
Yeah. Ride height. Yeah, check the ride height. Try different stuff. Try racing it and see how it works on track. And for shocks, go to less holes and bigger holes, and then thicker oils. That way you get better over those type of bumps.
Yeah, and just make sure, like, yeah, it's difficult. Are they going full chat over that jump too, as well?
Yeah.
By the way, he's racing in Connecticut at Hillside Raceway. It's old track's been around for a long time. It's up there in Connecticut. So yeah, man, try that. I think it's an e-truggy as well. So make sure you ain't got too much drag brake on your car either.
Yeah,
that might be affecting it as well. So it's usually simple things. You can probably fix it with just your driving, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on, just finding the rest of the questions here. Sean Alcorn, what's up, Tiny? Get all the manufacturers together, make the same type of air filters and clutch bearings. How can I make $1 million in 1 hour? Get into RC with $2 million. Why the green hair? He's not in Green Day. He likes Green Day a lot. He's talking about JQ.
Yeah.
What special did you do for my lady? I guess my wife's birthday. My wife partied. Like, she got her friends up her and they partied. And I looked after the kids and I bought her some perfume. For the first time, I was able to buy her something in like duty free on the way back from one of these trips. So I bought her something. And he just says, have a good day. But good question. Why don't all manufacturers get together and make the same type of air filters and clutch bearings?
No, I don't know. People just want to be different.
Yeah, but I mean, like at the Euros, the guys were running the Kyosho filters because they were better. You know, everybody's running
more air. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think that will ever happen. Most brands do use same clutch bell bearings though.
Yeah, but like X-Ray has some different laps in it. So yeah, good stuff. No, it's just my buddy was sending me some messages about the 10 scale and that, so I was just looking at them because that's actually on the way at the moment. So all right, one more question here before I go on to Connie's question. I did have some Instagram questions. Oh, one was about track. So much things pulling up. 1 second. So one of the questions was on Instagram was about tracks. Let me find it. I thought I had copied it her, but I didn't. My mistake. Your fault, Max. My mistake. Your fault. All right. 1 second. Okay. So this is one of our Instagram questions, and it comes from Bjorn Tering. I'm guessing he's of Scandinavian background with a name like Bjorn. Today's track layouts are done with a nitro car in mind. First, do you think you could make other track designs if it was only an electrical track? What would they be? Well, I think, what would you do? I mean, we could have big sended jumps. You could have a lot of jumps with very short run-ups with e-buggy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think most tracks work the same way on both cars. There isn't that big of a difference. Maybe you could have jumps that would work better if you jump further away. That could be one, but that's pretty
maybe
much
more rhythm sections because you'd have the power to power out of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe we see like a straight line rhythm section where you can jump up. You just have that power. I think that would work. More rhythm sections, tight stuff, coming at that 90 degree, 180, which is probably going to be in just well, it won't be whap. It'll be zip, 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 zip,
yeah.
Yeah, definitely could do stuff because you can't do that with nitro. It'll just be you need to get that run up, you need to keep the revs up, all that type of stuff. All right. But good question. Maybe when they do an electric only race, they'll keep that in mind and make it more timing. So this was a good question. I knew it was going to take a few minutes, but it's from Connie Svensson. And he says, rank the top 5 drivers based on ROI, return of investment, for manufacturers. They base it on the perceived increase in sales. They generate divided by their salary. As we don't have those numbers, you have to guesstimate. It's not just about who might be the best ambassador, but also what they pay for them. So that's a hard question. Who is the best ROI?
I think Ronnie Folk, Drake, but yeah,
Tebow.
Yeah, Tebow, and probably 5th would be
Rivkin.
I gotta go with Mayfield though. He wins.
I would throw Mayfield and Rivkin, even though Mayfield doesn't do any of the social media stuff.
Yeah, but Mayfield is still in there because he wins so much.
Right. And I would have to add, I would have to say that even Fend and Rivkin bring a lot to the board.
Yeah, Fend and Rivkin. Fend is actually more important than Rivkin because Fend has been for TLR forever, and like he's known to be that guy, like the orange car from TLR that wins everything.
Mm-hmm.
Rivkin, yes, he's has very good success, but he's never been sort of that star boy of AE like Fend was. He was the star boy of AE, but not like Fend.
I would agree there. So I look at it like this: what driver can you put a brand on his back and carry it? And there's only a few drivers I can think. I definitely you can see what Ronald Fox doing with Mayaka. It's only a year in. He's doing very well with it. Not only did he's growing it in Scandinavia. He took the bull by the horns. Like he's not just, oh, just pay me, I'm a driver. He's putting in work to build that community and all that type of stuff. So I give him a lot of credit for that. I don't think anybody else could have done that. He has the right attitude towards that. People like, oh, you're always swinging off Ronald Fox nuts. But I just happen to know the guy, and like the guy's truly professional. Like, it's not very seen in our sport. Drake, the clout that Drake carries over to the car or the company that he supports. So I think he's probably number one, even though he's not for his racing, but just for him and his influence that he's gained. I think another person that we might overlook is actually Cole Ogden is actually a good ambassador, I think, because a lot of people like him, and he kind of gets along. He's like the people's champion, so a lot of people like that. But yeah, it's a hard thing to know numbers and actual numbers. It's hard, but
I think Cole's issue is his reach is only America.
Yeah,
I think. Whereas David's reach is everywhere. Tebow is everywhere.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I have this theory. Like, so Tebow gave up 10 scale, right, to be at home, but to make up for 10 scale, he had to hustle more on the product side of things. You know what I mean? Which allows him to still be him. I'm wondering if that's going to be Mayfield, because now it's a lot of Ryan Mayfield stuff. I mean, I even saw some Traxxas shocks that are Ryan RM2. So is Mayfield going to, I mean, he's still fast. He doesn't have to. But at some point, he has to transition into a social media type of vibe. At some point. Yeah. At some point, if he still wants to, so... I did see they released a new shirt for Mayfield. No excuse or no apologies. So they're really embracing this new Apple image. I like it.
Probably that's why they got hooks in.
Maybe hooks is saying like, hey, let's embrace this. Let's do it. Yeah, I don't know who else we can say. I would say Renault Savoia too, maybe. Like in France, I'm sure he's good and a good ROI right now because he's working in the industry, but man, it's a lot of guys out there that probably aren't getting an ROI. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I think that's all our questions we have. Thank you everybody for sending in all of the Beach RC questions. Thank you, Beach RC, for your continued support. We greatly appreciate it. We can't do it without Beach RC. Remember, everybody, we have an affiliate link that you can check. Check it out. And show us some love, man. Show Beach RC some love. Show us some love. It definitely helps us out. And with that said, we're going to move into this next little segment that I have. And it's about rumors and sightings, I guess we can say. Some of the things that's been floating by my ear and some of the things I've kind of noticed since I got back. And that's brought to you by TZO Tires. For those of you that are listening, this is an ad. It's just got music. It doesn't have any words. And it's also brought to you by TNR Fuels. So with that said, let's get cracking onto the rumor section. Yeah, that cut off so quick. Nick needs to get a better video. We're gonna talk to him. I'll get a better video up. But thank you to TZA 200 Tires for all that continued support. Also, a big shout out to Chris Nelson and his family at TNR Fuels, because here at the NNRC, we are all about that glory, and that glory is nitro. TNR Fuels is the hottest nitro fuel on the market, owned and operated by Chris Nelson and his family, made by racers for racers. TNR Fuels is currently available throughout the USA. I believe it's available in Europe as well. For more information to support the company, purchase some fuel, get it into your local hobby shops, visit www.tnrfuels.com or contact Chris Nelson directly at his email, chris@tnrfuels.com, or find them on House of RC Facebook. Shoot him a message. He will get back to you. And thank you to these awesome companies for their continued support, and we greatly appreciate it. So, Max, I kind of was away from everything while I was out in the UK, and I was focused on that, and I missed a few things, and also we was on break. So I missed a few things, and I noticed that so when I went to look at the entries, there's no Seth Van Dalen or Tyler Jones on the entry list. And then I made a post about it innocently because I didn't know that they had made a post about it. And then they came on and said, yeah, they said a while ago that they weren't going. And so then I had a couple of people messaging me after that. And yeah, I think it's very strange that they're not going, but I kind of also understand probably why Techno isn't taking them. It's going to cost a lot of money. They're taking Wiggins, they're taking Tebow, and they got Barufalo. And I think Barufalo and Tebow are the two best chances. I'm not saying that Wiggins can't do well. You know, I'm not saying that, but I think Wiggins has got the experience there, and he went out to the warm-ups. I think he's there to help out. I shouldn't say help out, but you know what I mean. He's there for his setup skills and all that stuff. But it is weird not seeing Jones or Seth Van Dalen at the Worlds. I know Seth went to the 2018 Worlds as a privateer, I believe. Jones has never been to a Worlds, I don't think. And I think the writing is kind of on the wall, mostly for Jones at Techno. I think he's out at the end of the year. He's at the 10 scale nationals doing stock as well. So maybe he's looking to get back where he's going to do 10 scale and 8 scale. But I have to say this, and I like Tyler Jones and I like his dad. I have to say this. He did not set the world on fire at Techno. You know what I mean? He had glimmers of brilliance. We thought he was going to make it, but it seems like he just hasn't repeated that form from PNB. Maybe running 10 scale is going to help him get back to that form or whatever. But I will be very surprised if I see Jones at Techno next year. I would be surprised if Seth at Techno next year.
Remember last year, we were so sure it was Bornhorst and Seth. No, Seth that was going to go.
Yeah.
And then after the year, Bornhorst went. Are we going to see I think these two are going to stay. But
really? I think Jones is out. I think his contract's up, and I think it's done.
Okay,
I think Seth still has a contract, though.
I think Seth's still staying, but to me, it's just, to me, it's very odd how Techno does their team. Like, they don't send them to some places.
Well, I mean, they send them to all these races, but I think this comes to ROI, too. You know what I mean? Like, they probably said, all right, we got to send, like, this Worlds isn't cheap. We got to send a team over there. We got to go over there. What do we do? I mean, I just think I like Jones. I think he's going to have to go. So he's got to find what went missing in the last 2 years to add to his program to get back to where he was, I think. And maybe that's 10 scale, you know, so we shall see. And Seth, I don't know what's going to happen with Seth on that. I know he would be upset, and I know they're both upset about not going to the Worlds, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Seth Van Dalen, or maybe it's like Techno's like, all right, well, these two guys, like Wiggins is kind of irreplaceable for them, I think, in a certain way. And then obviously they have Boo Ruffalo, who I think will make the main. I think Tebow can make the main at the Worlds too, but definitely strange. Yeah. Also, I'm going to be the first to say it. I might be wrong, but I think Rifkin's done at JC. I saw that post that he made a couple of weeks ago after which race was the Wiki Weekend? And one thing I've noticed about Rifkin is I think he's frustrated. I think he's very frustrated as a racer. I think he got embroiled in that TLR Fenn thing at the beginning of the year, but carried on from the year before. Then the Brock thing as well, which I think has got more heated. But he's been very open. He's been very in his race reports about rough driving, and then in his interviews, his like even some of the races, he says, yeah, I went to this race and it was a complete joke or whatever, and I'm just like, woo, like, And then I saw that post about, I need a pit crew, someone to change tires, and he just took a picture of all his tires unglued, and I was just like, that isn't gonna go over well. I think he's frustrated. I think he wants results. I think he's put a lot of pressure on himself. Like, he is the number one AE guy, and I think he's got like Aiden Horn and Cole Toller chipping away at you in 10 scale, which was his bread and butter. But I just I don't know what's going to be Rivkin's future. He just seems I could be wrong. He seems frustrated right now.
Yeah, I mean, but then what tire does he run if he leaves JC and still runs AE?
I don't know. I mean, it just seems like there's some friction there.
Everything else is owned by Horizon.
I know. Maybe I would not be surprised. See, I would be surprised because maybe they're not as much enemies anymore, Fenn and him. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Rivkin at TLR at some point.
Yeah. Well, why would you think he'd be down at AE? He gets everything he wants.
But there's other people coming there. He's not probably getting the AE because AE has a shit ton of people in the back waiting. You know what I mean? That's why. If you really look about it.
Yeah, but it's not even that much. It's just Horn and
what about all them fast kids in the UK coming up and Marcus Carap, all them guys in Europe coming up, you got Ongaro still over there doing well.
Yeah, 10 scale side, yes, but he's still the number one driver in America.
Yes.
So, and in 8 scale, he gets to do whatever he wants because Ongaro doesn't get to decide a lot because he tests with like the designer and they test with Rivkin with
But you have to admit, he does seem frustrated.
Yeah.
And his posts reverberate that. That's all. And I just know, after the Philippine incident when the tire burning happened, that was like the nail in the coffin. Yeah. And I just know, I know Ronald runs a tight ship, and he's not going to be happy with that type of talk. You know what I mean? Which, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I don't know what happens to Rivkin, but look at JC's got so much competition. Like, everywhere he looks, it's competition for days on the JC team. So I could be wrong, but he just seems very frustrated at things. And it's certain, I don't mind. I want these guys to show their feelings, and I want them to be like this. So for me, it's not a big issue, but something's up there. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I think there's going to be a very, very interesting silly season, Max. I think you're going to see a lot of drivers leave established brands this year. I think we're going to see a lot of movement, and I think it doesn't matter what the Worlds does. You can win the Worlds or whatever. I think these moves already in play. You know what I mean? So we shall see. We shall see. That's all I have for rumors and sightings lately. That's just kind of what's been on my radar lately. You know what's hard now that I had the new Facebook. I'm not in a lot of these groups where I used to be, so I miss out on a lot of things. So I do appreciate people sending me news. But I definitely think Jones out of Techno. I don't know where he goes. Not sure what's that, but I think the question to ask is, what is the ROI on these guys? Like, what do they bring back? You know what I mean? Are they This is an industry where your driver, it's results based. Results generate your money that you make at the end of the day and all that type of stuff. So it's hard, but it's rough. But these guys are in a position that many, many young drivers have been in before. Like they're on the cusp of, they're probably a paid driver or getting a salary of some sort. But it's like they're also on the cusp of, like, I gotta live a real life. You know what I mean? As well.
Yeah.
It's like, where do you go from there? I've seen many a good young RC driver get to this fork in the road, I like to say, and they have to kind of just go to where they're gonna make money. I'm not saying that's the case for Jones. I think he still has a career, but I just don't. I think it's pressure, dude. Pressure, like it's a lot of pressure. People don't understand. It's a lot of pressure. Like when your livelihood depends on this stuff, it's fucking pressure. Like, sorry to say that, but it is. So I can see that, and I think Rivkin's suffering from that a little bit. I think because also with Rivkin, he had it. He gained a lot of. He got 2 world championships. He got a world championship young. He got a lot of things young, and it's now like, like this is the grind now. You got to grind it out. You're still one of the top drivers in the world, but you just got to grind it out. You got to find that missing piece of the equation. All right, Max. One last subject, and then we're going to go in. We're going to run off this real quick. It's something I want to do. I'm going to start doing it anyway in written form. And it's something I wanted to kind of do. It's brought to you by Lugs Racing Tires, who have over 55 years of combined racing experience. They've been testing treads, wheels, and rubber for performance. They have their Econ line of tires, developed with racing budgets in mind, high quality but lower cost with savings passed on to you, the consumer. They have their premium line of tires that are pure performance. They are using their Lugs custom molds and proprietary rubber compounds. All tires are available medium soft, super soft, mega soft, and long wear. You can visit www.lugsracing.com. You can save up to 25% with the promo code NNRC Lugs. Thank you for the support. All right, Max. So we talk about this Worlds being the most epic Worlds coming up. We have about 2 more podcasts before we do get there. So I wanted to take 2 things I wanted to talk about because I forgot about one thing. We still haven't seen the track. I talked to Baldo today because I wanted to get the logo, and he was telling me about Chris. He was a little pissed off at Chris Sarkis for someone got some spy shots of the track, and Chris put them up.
Yeah,
I missed them. I did miss them. I didn't see them at all. I did the day that I broke my laptop, so I was pretty busy. I'm so excited to see what this track looks like. I really am. I'm so excited. But anyway, I thought we'd take a look at Team Kyoto and a couple other drivers this week, and we're just going to talk about it like less than a minute on each driver. So we have, I would say we have Ryan Lutz, Renault Savoia, and Yao Figueiredo for Team Kyoto going to this World.
Polito, maybe if you go.
Polito, yeah, maybe. I forgot about him. I don't know if he's going to be a factor. He hasn't been racing much. So, but
he's been racing in Italy.
Yeah, but he didn't do the Euros, and he didn't do the warm-up, I don't think.
He did.
I think Yao Figueiredo can make the main. I think Lutz can make the main too if he drives like a Ricky weekend and have issues. Unfortunately for Renault Savoia, I don't see him making the main. I don't even know if I see Renault in the semis, to be honest.
Did he make the main at the Euros? I don't think he did.
I would probably want to know that, but we would have to go look that up. I don't think he did. Yeah. So Team Kyoto, I think Ryan Lutz can make the main. I think if Yao slows down a little bit, he can make it because he's just so punched.
Yeah, but, I think Yao and Lutz are the strongest ones going into the race. Savoia and Polito would be probably the next 2, obviously. But yeah, those guys all have a chance of being in the semis, but the top 2 I think have a chance of being the main. And I don't
feel that any of them can win it though. I'll be honest with you.
No. Lutz, I would be
very happy if he did.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Lutz top 5, but that would be a good result for him.
Okay, that goes on to the Kyoto's biggest rival, Team Mugen Seiki. So we have, it looks like we're going to have Ryan Mayfield from America, and then Robert Battier and the Killick brothers from Europe. I think that's going to be the whole Mugen team right there.
Yeah.
I see all 4 of those guys in the main, to be honest.
Yeah, so Mugen sort of sneakily got a great team, whereas they already had Mayfield and Robert, and both are very strong. Both are most likely going to make the mains, and Mayfield's one of the most likely ones to win. And then Killich brothers coming up this year massively, made their World warm-up main, both of them. And in the Euros, Berkan was in the main, Burak had issues in the semi, but he TQ'd the whole race.
And he was very fast in qualifying.
Yeah.
Burak was extremely fast. So
yeah.
Yeah, I love the Killick brothers. I'm looking forward to meeting them. I like Robert. Can Robert pull off an upset and win, you think?
No, I don't think it's enough. His speed is okay at this track, but it's just not enough, I think.
How about either the Killicks? Top 3 win for them. I think top 3 is feasible.
Yeah, I think top 3 for Burak would be feasible, but I think most likely they will make the main and be somewhere 5th to 10th, somewhere there. Okay. Both of them.
And Mayfield, like, I have no surprise that he can win this. That he's one of my favorites to win it.
He's one of my picks for top 3, definitely.
Okay. We should probably do one more team and then get out of here. Let's do Team HB. I think this is going to be all American. I think.
I think Musso is still HB.
Yeah, Musso. Sorry, and then Paulson will be there, but I don't think I like Musso and I like Paulson, but I don't think they're on the level of like Fuller, Brunson. I think Fuller, Brunson. Is Brunson going? But if he is, I think Fuller, Brunson, Ogden, and Pavidis are all in the semis.
I think Musso is better than Brunson.
Really? So you have him in the semis? Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll put him in the semis.
I don't have Musso or Brunson in the semis. So.
Okay. Well, I have.
I have Cole in the quarters. And,
wow.
And, Fuller straight into the semis.
I have Cole into the final. And I have Fuller into the final in the semifinals.
Okay. I think Cole, he can go. I have Cole from qualifying to quarters and bump up to semi. And
okay.
Fuller I have straight to semi and then perhaps in next to me.
Pavidis? Semis?
No, I don't think it's enough. I think
hot race though. Hot race. He'll be on the good tires.
Yeah, tires. But so will everyone else. Everyone else will be running hot race except for Americans.
I think they will eventually. I think that Cole makes the main, and I think that comes from the previous experience that he's had when he was over there with David. That's what I think.
Okay, maybe, but the track is big. Yeah, it's gonna be very tough.
Yeah, you can't have a mental implosion on this track. It's gonna cost you big time.
Yeah, and Worlds is different. I don't think Cole has ever made the main at the Worlds.
Mm-hmm. And I have full faith in Mason Fuller. I think he can make it. But if he doesn't make the final this year, it's not the end. It's not a loss.
I don't even see a scenario where there's no HBs in the semis being impossible, which is crazy to say.
No HBs in the semis?
I see that possible, but I don't see it likely.
No, I don't.
But I see that being possible. I think the scenario is there's 2 HBs in the semi.
I think that's more of a likely scenario. I think Pavidis can make the semis, though. I think he can.
No, I don't think so.
Wow, Max, you're being brutal this week. You're being brutal. But that's your opinion, and that's what it's about.
No, but the level, like.
All right, we know what?
Just watch the World's warm up sort of starting list, and then add the Americans to that. And
all right, so let's do a tricky one, and then we'll wrap it up. Team X-Ray.
Yeah, so they actually have a very, very strong team. So they have Baldo, they have David. They
have both Baldos.
Yeah, but I don't see both making the main. I see Oscar making the main. So Oscar Baldo, Ty Tessman, Bruno Coelho. I think all of
Montero?
those 3.
Does Montero drive for them?
Yes, Montero drives for them. Oh my God, there's so many people who drive for them who are quite fast. Like Skidmores, so many people. But
I think one of the Skidmores makes the semis.
Yeah, I think one of the Skidmores makes the semis. Maybe Montero or someone like this, but most likely not. But
Ty and Coelho in the final. You have them in the final.
Ty, Coelho, and Oscar Baldo, and I think any one of those 3 I wouldn't be surprised to see him win.
You know what? After watching Oscar at at the warm-ups, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah.
But if they change the track a lot, maybe so. But Coelho and Ty,
Maybe,
I wouldn't.
yes, but I think Oscar is still very fast on this track because he knows it, and he is actually quite fast driver. But I don't see him winning realistically, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him win.
Okay, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I think that's it. We're gonna do more teams for today. We'll save some for next week and then the following week. All right, Max. I think that's it for us this weekend. Thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it, and your girlfriend's time. I know she's sitting there patiently waiting for you to stop geeking out over RC. But Tyler, RC is life. If you've married an RC man, this is what. Well, not married. You've gotten involved with an RC man. This is what happens. Yeah. Especially when you're smart like you and arrogant. But thank you. Thank you to Mark Moon for his time as well. Remember, guys, if you're looking for a good race to go to after the Worlds in September, check it out. It's going to be under a roof, guaranteed race. I think it's going to be fun. Good luck to everybody at the 10 Scale Nationals. Hopefully we get some action on and off the track. It will be great. I would love to see that. I know people's like, you're just doing drama. I said, no, I want good racing, but I want drama too. And Max, we're going to be seeing each other shortly here in Spain. So that's going to be good.
Yeah, it's not long.
Not long at all. Yeah, 2 weeks roughly. Shout out to all the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do it without you guys. Thank you for all the continued support. Thank you for downloading. Remember to continue to download. If you ain't sub to our, let's help. Look, let's get the YouTube channel up to 3K. We're not too far away, about 400 subs left. Let's get there. 300 subs. Let's get there. So please, if you can go to the YouTube channel, hit that sub button, leave a comment. If you listen to us on the audio side of things, please share. Also, leave comments. It helps get us on the algorithm. We need comments. Even if you say it's shit, like just comment. Just get us out there.
Go knock to your neighbor's house and say you need to subscribe to NNRC podcast.
Yeah, say, hey, boom. This is the NNRC podcast. Subscribe.
Go to the store and yell in the front of the store that subscribe to NNRC podcast.
If you do a video of doing that, I will send you a t-shirt and stickers.
But he has to do it more than just yelling it once. He has to be like 30-second video.
Go to the NNRC podcast on YouTube and give him a sub button and I'll win a t-shirt.
And there needs to be people walking by too.
Yes,
we
need people
like
walking
a Walmart,
by looking at you.
like a Walmart or something where there's
this isn't like we need this to be a populated area. You need to be like, or carry a sign saying sign up to the NNR. Look up, check NNRC podcast on YouTube. If somebody does that, I will give you a t-shirt if I have your size and some stickers. Or I have another cool something that I could give to you later. All right. Thank you to all of the patrons of the podcast. We greatly appreciate your support. We can't do it without you. If you wish to be a patron, you can join. You can do that on the written link in the description. You guys get early release of this podcast. Also, thank you to the awesome sponsors of this podcast. I am looking for some companies to finish off my budget for the Worlds. If you're a smaller company, you want to donate, help, and want to get put on that, I have to next week to get that. And then you get put on the sponsor list for all the work that we do. Hit me up. I'm looking for some extra help. I'm trying to hopefully get these trips where I don't spend any money on it, like where it's all paid for. So I'm hoping that I can get this done like that. Hopefully. But thank you to all the awesome sponsors. They are Invisible Speed, TZO 200 Tires, TNR Fuels, Beach RC, High Tech RC, Mayako, Techno RC, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, G-Spec RC Tuning, Some Pedal USA, Racecraft USA, Clinic RC, RCGP, House of RC. Shout out to JTP, the JTP RC, David Ronafalk Shop, my boy Alexander Hagberg. And thank you to all those companies for their support. You can show them some love with the links in the written description. Max, it was good chatting to you. I'll let you go. Get some sun.
Yeah, I will try.
Let's make it it's gonna be hot in Spain too. So it's
not gonna be that hot.
It's gonna be hot. Let's not have a repeat of the warm-up where you go to the hospital, okay?
Yeah.
Let's get you used to the sun now.
It's hot as fuck here. It's like 30 degrees inside.
It's like 70 degrees and it's hot for you.
No, it's hot as fuck actually. Like It's actually
all right. I can see that like that 80 degrees just sitting in right now is really bothering you. So anyway, you know what, Max?
No, it's at least 100.
You think it's 100? It's not really 100.
Or
I've
90.
been in
I don't
100.
know what is 90 in actual temperature measures.
38, 40.
No, it can't be that much. 70 is like 20, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like 38, 40. 38, 40. Anyway, enough about weather. I'll see you in a few weeks. It's going to be actual hot there. Make sure to bring your suntan lotion and your big hat because we ain't having you pass out. You know what? With that said, Nitros to glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. Lefty, Max, we're out. We enjoyed it. We had fun. See you guys next week. We're looking forward to your questions. All that good stuff. I'm doing this because I'm unprepared and didn't have my outro up. That said, Lefty and Max are out.
Goodbye, guys.